And now we're being joined by Ila Smith-Asek, wildlife and environmental conservationist. She joins us live from India's capital, New Delhi. And we're also joined by Sudhanshu Saronwala, Executive Director, Marketing and Communications at WWF International. He joins us live from WION in Switzerland. Thank you, both of you, for being with us. Ila, I'm going to quickly start with you. Look at the situation. It's clearly a wake-up call for India, these worldwide wildlife numbers.
Of course, but we've been having so many wake-up calls, but I don't think that the agenda of certain industrialists and development models, perhaps, because we've got, it's not just the tiger population. A lot of people don't understand in India that why do we care about tigers? Tigers represent a healthy environment in which all organisms can live. So when you say the tigers have gone, it means other animals couldn't live. The prey of the tiger is gone. It's not just poaching that's killing tigers, it's also a lack of habitat. So when you talk about habitat, it's a livable environment. It doesn't matter about the animals, okay? So maybe I care about the animals, maybe you don't. But what I'm trying to say here is that if you don't have animals living in a place, it means that there's not enough water, there's not enough, there's not enough tree cover, there's not enough livable conditions. Okay, so we've been losing tigers for the past I think since the time the British came into India and started hunting them, and now it is just a deplorable condition because we've got people shaving off forests across India, and we've got, of course, the Chinese government doing nothing about this horrendous poaching that's going on, and all these tiger parts that they believe cure cancer and whatnot. It's absolutely scientifically unproven, for one thing. And the rest of the world, seems to be getting along quite well with Western and natural medicine. So this whole idea that rhino horn can, work as an aphrodisiac or any other bunkum rubbish, it's really unfortunate that China, as a country, has done nothing at all, to curb this.
Ila, stay with us. We'll also have Sudhanshu Saronwala of the WWF International joining us live from Switzerland. Sudhanshu, talk to us. This report is alarming. In 44 years, over 60% of wildlife species have gone kaput. Is this the 6th mass extinction?
Yes, thank you. It's certainly the 6th mass extinction that's very much underway here that we're looking at. And the 60% decline in vertebrate species is a thorough indicator of that. Whatever way you look at it, whatever indicators you look at, there is no doubt that human activity is pushing the planetary boundaries right to the edge, and all the systems that really underpin our very existence are under threat and under pressure. So we've really got to work on that, and it's not just about the species, as was correctly pointed out. It's the broader issue. It's the broader habitats. It's the land use. It's the degradation of land. It's the deforestation. It's the loss of coral. So it's all of this, the fabric of life as you see it, that is coming under threat here.
And if I were to quickly ask you, what would be the overall impact on human civilization as we know it when wildlife numbers are down by over 60%?
So as you look at habitats decreasing, as you look at degradation of land, we're basically changing the face of the planet. So you look at, and all of this provides us the food that we eat, the air that we breathe, the water that we drink. So all of these essentials that come to us from nature are taken for granted. So this is not something that we can take for granted. It's indispensable. It threatens. There's a direct social impact of all of these environmental degradation that you're looking at through these numbers and through these indicators. So we've really got to be able to understand the human activity or the human-linked activity and move towards sustainable consumption and sustainable development on this.
Right. Quick last comment from Ila Smith-Asek. Ila, we've just had a bunch of elephants who died in Odisha. We've had over 20 Asiatic lions dying in Gir. India is right now also in the thick of things when it comes to species vanishing from the face of its soil.
Yes, of course, the animals are now just a pawn in the game of development, unfortunately, and also the signs of corruption. I mean, the Odisha government should hang their head in shame because I read in the papers that it has been a year since those high power cables were spotted there hanging low, and there was no action taken. So this is just a clear indication of just how, you know, our corrupt system hasn't improved in the past, you know, few years. And it's unfortunate that, you know, even, you know, elephants cannot even cross, you know, railway tracks. I mean, I think every 2 months we have a herd of elephants which are killed by the railways. And I think as a country we have the resources and we have the manpower to prevent these kind of tragedies, but we do not, because the animals are just, I think, fifth-class citizens, and they just don't matter. Unless, of course, there's a political agenda involved, in which case the cow is now protected on paper. So I think what we really need right now is, yes, a wake-up call, and we need to crack down on poaching, crack down on you know, man and animal conflict, and we definitely need to you know, bring this to the forefront. It's great that you've actually made a program just on this, because I think it's commendable as a news channel for you to be supporting this cause, because it's very important.
Right. Ila Smeta-Sek, thank you so much for taking time out of being with us here on WION World. Is one, of course, Sudhanshu joining us all the way from Switzerland. Sudhanshu, thank you so much. They're trying to escape a life full of crime, hopelessness and desperation. Victims of violence, poverty and economic crisis in South and Central America are fleeing their homeland. They're pushing north to the United States of America in a hope for a new lease of life. Getting to America, however, is not easy. But this caravan of migrants is ready to do whatever it takes. Hundreds of Hondurans crossed a river into Mexico. Men, women and children crossed the Suchiate River on rafts made from truck tires or by forming human chains to avoid being swept away. Others swam across after Mexican authorities refused to open a border bridge. A group of migrants broke through a Guatemalan police cordon to reach the river on Sunday in an attempt to join the larger caravan which is marching towards the U.S. border.
I've come here to give my children a future, for them not to become criminals, for them not to become lazy or commit murders. When it comes to it, I'm not going to Honduras.
Her father works in the transport business. That's where he received a death threat. So we didn't have money to pay for a coyote, a smuggler who helps undocumented migrants reach the United States. So we opted to join the caravan.
Those who managed to cross into Mexico, they continued their trek to the U.S. A caravan of several thousand Central American migrants continued to walk in the blazing sun towards the Mexico-California border in a hope to cross over into America. Several women and children are part of these caravans. Many of the women are pregnant, and the walk to a better life is grueling to say the least. The arduous journey was difficult for many children who've been trudging along for the last few days. An estimated 2,000 children are urgently in need of protection and access to essential services like healthcare, clean water, and adequate sanitation.
Many have fever. They have acute bronchitis and respiratory problems. We estimate there are more or less 2,000 children who are traveling with this caravan. Some 500 are very, very young. It's not only the problem with transportation, but we're making a call to highlight the dimension of the crisis we are facing. That is why it is very important that the Mexican state determines what will be the model for attention for this population, but mainly the population of girls, boys and teenagers who are migrating.
Their fight for survival is becoming a headache for the President of the United States of America. 2 days ago, Donald Trump said that the military is ready and will soon be put into action. That time has come. The U.S. has deployed over 5,000 troops along the border with Mexico. The U.S. Defense Department confirmed that 5,200 active duty troops have been deployed to harden the southern border. Pentagon has also deployed drones and helicopters on the border to keep an eye on the illegal migrants attempting to intrude into U.S. territory, as they call it. The choppers are equipped with optics and sensors that will allow them to operate at night as well.
By the end of this week, we will deploy over 5,200 soldiers to the southwest border. That is just the start of this operation. We'll continue to adjust the numbers and inform you of those, but please know that's in addition to the 2,092 that are already employed from our National Guard Operation Guardian support that's been so effective.
United States police held a military drill on the border bridge between the American city of El Paso and the Mexican town of Juarez. Those soldiers are not conducting direct law enforcement operations and will be in a support role. They will nonetheless be deployed with their weapons. Apart from the obvious security threat, Donald Trump has also had an eye on the upcoming midterm elections in America. This stand on migrants and keeping them at bay is the one that's crucial for the Republicans as a whole. Trump tweeted, and I quote, "Many gang members and some very bad people are mixed into the caravan heading to our southern border. Please go back. You will not be admitted into the United States unless you go through the legal process. This is an invasion of our country and our military is waiting for you." Donald Trump is on a whirlwind tour of the country campaigning for his party's candidates. During a rally in Springfield, Missouri, the U.S. president targeted his political opponents via the migrant caravan that is marching at a swift pace.
The Democrats want caravans. They like the caravans. A lot of people say, I wonder who started that caravan. The Democrats will also destroy health care by giving free health care to illegal immigrants and much more than that. So if you want to uphold our laws, our borders, and our way of life, you need to vote for Scott Walker and Leah Vuitman.